Hello and welcome to Fantasmagorium show. We are here for Cat's Movie Corner, uh, joined by Ernesto. How's it going?
It's going. How's it going, everybody? Well, as soon as they get here, it's been a while since I've been on the show.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a show too. we
I
were
think last time I just jumped in at the last minute just to help out.
yeah, we were gonna do a Christmas party episode, but I had intermittent power outages that day, and then the following Thursday was New Year's Day. I'm like, "Man, nobody's around to watch anything on New Year's Day, so I think the
So
last one
what
we
you're saying is we haven't done anything since last year.
yeah last one I did I think was F1 on the 18th, 3 weeks
Okay.
ago. So. Uh, so Ernesto and I had this idea years ago when we were going to launch our own podcast. We haven't really gotten around to it yet, but despite the fact that we're both cinephiles, we have a bunch of movies that we haven't seen that we probably should have seen a long time ago. And we thought we'd call this segment, from the pile, because we frequently, we're always texting each other and asking, "Oh, have you seen this or whatever?" He's like, "No, it's on the pile," or I'll be like, "No, it's on the pile." And I thought, wouldn't it? And basically, we're gonna shame each other over the movies that we haven't seen until just this week. We didn't tell each other which movies we picked, um, and then we'll give our little thoughts on that. Two
Yeah.
movies each for per episode, and this is
It's likely that there might be a crossover. We won't know until we speak the title. And it's likely that I might say something that Kat hasn't seen yet, so it'll be a surprise for both of us.
yes.
And we'll just take it from there. And then as we go along, if this works out, we'll probably get more creative with it. But yeah, we're just going to just show our hands with the titles we've chosen. I picked something that would be considered vintage, and I picked something that's a little bit more modern. I had an alternative plan that I was going to do, but I'll explain what that plan is later.
All right, then I guess I'll kick it off. And
All right.
so basically, I really like horror movies, even though I only find a very small fraction of them to actually be scary. And there's all sorts of films which are like, what started the slasher genre? What started this or that? Peeping Tom's one that really the first. Then you had Psycho and others. But in 1974, there was one in particular that I just got here recently, and I've heard about it forever. I've never watched it until this week, specifically for this show, and I just picked it up because it was available on Groove. Uh, Black Christmas. Uh,
Ooh.
this is the original. It's been made 3 times now. Uh,
Okay.
the movie almost looks like a documentary the way they shot it. Interesting soundtrack. It takes place, of course, on Christmas, and you start with a POV of the killer as he's walking up to the sorority house, and he climbs up the side trellis and goes and hides in the attic. And the ladies have been living at the house have been receiving these obscene phone calls from somebody who keeps saying that Billy killed Agnes, but other times he seems to referring to himself in the third person as if maybe he's Billy, and just these really obscene phone calls and stuff like that. And it's like, we know from the beginning that the killer's in the attic, and the only time he killed the first victim, it's somebody who wanders up in the attic. It's like, oh, he had to do it. And the next victim wanders up there as well, who's they called her the house madam, even though she was just the person. Kind of today, you have more younger RAs doing that at the residence halls or houses, but
Yeah.
it's kind of it's an eerie thing where they set up the boyfriend in there as it's like he's a suspect because the lead girl, played by Olivia Hussey, is pregnant and she's thinking about getting an abortion, and her boyfriend's really upset by that. You have John Saxon playing the sheriff in town, and it's a really eerie kind of movie. And I said it was high time that I actually watched it. And it's obvious that John Carpenter took a lot from this for Halloween, or Erwin Yablans even when he says, "Oh, Babysitter's stalked. I'll just call it Halloween." And I'm thinking, you probably saw Black Christmas before that, but
Yeah.
because of course, again, Black Christmas is the one which started with the actual POV from the killer, which a lot of people falsely state that was Halloween with the opening sequence. It's like, no, it was Black Christmas. Uh, I didn't think it was very scary. I liked it. The killer is completely nuts. Like he's just in the attic, and you have the famous image from the posters that I've seen forever of the girl who's been wrapped in saran wrap to this rocking chair in the attic. and he just sits up there every once in a while, and he's rocking that chair back and forth and having this like meltdown, speaking this high pitched voice. It's like this guy's totally fucked in the head. Uh, and it was good to finally watch it. And the ending is, of course, what the film is probably most known for. Uh,
Yeah.
the shock twist ending, which I don't know if I should spoil it or not. Uh,
Uh, I will say before you do that, I haven't seen the original. I did see the remake that came in the 2000s. I barely remember it, but I do kind of like recall the trailers for the original because I was curious to see. But you know how sometimes for classic movies like that or vintage movies, there are really trailers or they're trailers, but they're like a compilation and not really a marketing like
Mhm.
today's trailers where there's a point to how they're marketed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I might never watch this movie. So basically, go ahead, spoil it if you want. I might watch it at some point just to be like, oh, I'll
All right.
check
So
this
it's
off the
like
box.
the boyfriend is, kind of nuts too. He's really upset that his girlfriend wants to get the abortion, and they find out, and that he's never in the room with them when the phone calls are being made. And it's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, shit." And it's established that, we know the guy's in the attic, and we also know that the calls are only being answered from the first floor. And this is a really neat designed house. It was in Toronto, I think, where they filmed this. And you have these a large like, where you could look up because the stairs are going around, and you can look all the way up towards the ceiling, across multiple floors. So, every time they're on the phone, I felt safe that nobody's gonna jump out of the closet right behind him or anything, because the guy's, like, way up in the attic. But, the boyfriend's kind of a weirdo, and he's never around for the phone calls, and he kinda has a meltdown when he goes to this Christmas pageant where he's doing the piano because he's really pissed off at his girlfriend. And, towards the end of the movie, after the killer has gotten a bit brazen and come downstairs on his own volition to kill 2 other sorority girls, he comes down and actually grabs the back because Olivia Hussey picks up the phone because the cops are trying to trace the call repeatedly through the movie. And, they finally like, the call's coming from inside the house, and they tell her to run
oh,
because
is
there's a
that where that comes from?
so the calls are coming from inside the house, and she's like, "Well, I gotta get my other friends first." She's like, "No, just get out of the house right now." And because she
Oh,
hesitates on the phone, the guy comes downstairs and grabs her by the hair. She yanks away, and we don't see his face, flees into the basement, barricades herself in the back, and the guy's bashing through trying to get through the door, and he can't. And then he leaves, or we think he leaves because he stops trying to break in. It's like, oh shit. And she sees the shadows. He's coming around the back to enter through the basement, and it's the boyfriend. And he comes in there and he's trying to figure, and she's petrified, and he's trying to figure out what the problem is. And she just freaks out, and they cut to black, and John Saxon's racing to get back to the house because his deputies have called him about what's going on, and he gets there to find that she has killed her boyfriend with a fire poker that she had, and she's in shock and just petrified. And they find the two bodies in the broom, but they don't go up to the attic where the other two bodies are. And the girl's father, the father of the one who's in the attic, is kind of despondent. He thinks, so I guess this girl's boyfriend's insane or whatever. And they're like, look, her father or whatever is coming down to pick her up. He's going to be here in like 4 hours. Doctors came and gave her a sedative, so they leave her in her room in the sorority house and turn off the lights and then post a cop outside. And then the phone starts ringing again, and we see that the killer is still inside the attic.
ooh.
So the implication, and that's how the movie ends. So the implication is that he's probably going to come downstairs and kill Olivia Hussey. So it wasn't the boyfriend. Uh, And I was surprised because it's like it was framed like a whodunit, right? And so I kept trying to think, well, who are the other suspects who could potentially have done this? Because there's not really many other male characters in the film.
Yeah.
But it was such a bleak ending, how it just kind of like, holy shit, that's just like, and the guy is such a nutcase. But again, I didn't feel it was really scary. It's like, okay, it has that documentary feel. It has the POV. I could see how this was really shocking in 1974. It actually really pissed off the people of Toronto where they filmed it because for some reason they thought it was reflective of a murder in the 1940s where this teenage boy killed his mother, but I don't see what the connection is there. But
It was
it,
too soon, Cat. It was too
yeah,
soon.
even the documentaries on this Blu-ray 4K Steelbook are kind of lo-fi. Uh, but it's a movie that I guess it was popular enough. They remade it twice, putting a much more feminist perspective on it in 2019. Because again, this one was really vulgar in the misogyny and the language that the guy was using on the phone. And it's like, oh god, this was just
Was
really like,
20 was the 2019 the one with all the girls?
Yeah.
at the sorority, and it ended
Yeah, and I
up
think,
being a supernatural thing.
something like that, yeah, and I think Carrie Elways was in that one, or the one from 2000.
Yes. Yeah, oh
Yeah.
my god, I remember so many people giving that movie so much flack.
Yeah, 'cause, it's like the first movie was just doing something very different, like the POV of the killer, and it's just there's not really much of a plot, you're just kind of hanging around as this stuff is going on, but I'm
Would
glad
you
I
call
found
it experimental?
I mean, yeah, because even Peeping Tom has kind of a premise, I mean, uh
Yeah,
and granted, that one's from a perspective of the guy too, but in a slightly different way.
yeah.
I know there was one character, one of the other male characters in this was such an asshole. He was pissed off because he had to play Santa for the kids, and when the kids show up, and one of the little kids is sitting on his lap, and he's got his beard down, and he's drinking a beer and just cussing up a storm, and like this guy's such an asshole. I want him to get knocked off, but of course he doesn't, because of course it's only a woman who
Probably
can be butchered in
pro
this movie.
yeah, probably the inspiration for Bad Santa years later.
uh, yeah, except with Bad Santa, it's kind of funny because it's a comedy.
Oh,
You
no,
kind
yeah,
of
I'm
blame the
just
guy.
saying, like, the I'm just saying the image of the guy you just described sounds like it could have inspired Bad Santa.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
So,
alright.
yeah, so Black Christmas, it's like, okay, I could see why people look back on it fondly. But I think Halloween was much better because also Halloween, you could tell, even though it had a limited budget, it looked like it was more professionally shot. I like the cinematography of Halloween a lot better, and the
Mhm,
lighting and stuff and use of the dark. Uh, also setting a horror movie on Christmas like that, I don't think that had been done before either. So that was
mm,
kind of like, whoa, kind of shocking. So yeah.
yeah, alrighty. Well, I was going to save this one for last, but since we're in the post-Christmas season and your movie has snow in it, mine has snow in it, a lot of it. Now, let me paint a picture for you. Let me set it up for you.
Mhm.
I have seen in one way or another, growing up, all the way through college, all the way through adulthood, up until now, references, clips, parodies, um, endless referential quotes about this movie to the point where at some moment you have to figure, Ernesto, at some point you got to watch this movie. Like, you can't keep, hyping this up for yourself because it's going to get to that moment where it's like, bro, really? It took you this long to watch it? So when you said, hey, can we do this already? I'm like, sure, let's, might as well rip the band-aid off. This movie has been referenced in three movies that I can recall right now, and I'm going to mention all of them. And I'm going to leave it up to you to decide what movie I'm talking about. So
Okay.
you'll reveal it for me. It has been referenced in the movie that just came out a couple of months ago, Zootopia 2. It was referenced in Twister,
Yeah,
and
fuck
it
you,
was and it was
you
and,
motherfucker. I'm gonna fucking kill you for this one.
and it was and it was referenced as a homage to their friendship years ago in Ready Player One. Cat, which movie am I talking about?
Might it be this one?
Yes, Cat. It is The Shining.
My fucking god, Ernesto. My god.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, with Black Christmas, it's like, okay, it's kind of obscure semi, but fucking The Shining, are you kidding me?
Hey, you did set it up in the beginning that we're gonna shame each other, so might as
I
well
know. Which
just
is
rip
why
the band-aid.
which is why make sure when we want to see your reactions when you find out what I haven't seen. So you'll have to have your camera on for that part.
Oh yeah, I will. I will. Right now I look like shit, but I
Oh
will.
god. I can't believe that you'd never seen The Shining before. What did you
Well,
think?
here's the thing. Kind of like with Black Christmas, I didn't find it scary, but I was fascinated just watching like the start to end. It's a bit slow. Like, if you're comparing it to a lot of movies of today that have to do like ghost stories or haunted house, haunted mansion kind of things. Like, if you're watching like a modern version, there's a lot of sound mixing, sound editing to hype up everything, like to create a movie, kind of like the paranormal activity movies, when something's about to go down, you hear that buzz in the background that's supposed to elicit a reaction or set the mood for you.
Mhm.
So this one doesn't really do much of that in some parts until the orchestra is building and building and building and building. I am also because a few years ago, you know, when they did that Nurse Ratched series on
Yeah,
Netflix, I decided to rip the band-aid and watch for the first time One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
yeah,
And it was one of those like double takes where I'm like, oh my God, look at how young everybody is. Like with Danny DeVito, with not
Lloyd.
Christopher, yeah,
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd and Jack Nicholson. And here you see Jack Nicholson, and the moment he walks in, I'm like, oh my God, I can see where the inspiration for you being the Joker came from. My God, you got that big smile on you, man. And it starts off slow, but then it starts ramping up, and the movie really doesn't explain much of anything. You have to kind of
Yeah,
like figure it out in the beginning, like when the when the black guy, where he's talking to Danny, and they're talking about, you know, my mama used to say that I had to shine, and I'm trying to figure out what's the shine, and it isn't until a certain point later when they're both having a seizure episode. I'm like, oh, you're psychic. That's what you are.
yeah.
Okay, I understand. Because he's constantly getting imagery of dead bodies, and you see that big reference in Ready Player One with the huge tidal wave of blood, which I
Mhm.
took it to mean that of all the deaths that have happened in this hotel, that's where the blood comes from. And
Well, also the
I,
room
yeah,
237.
yeah, room 227, you know, red room, red room, red room, red room, red room. I'm like, well, somebody shut the kid up, red room, red room. Um, you know, although it wasn't scary, I was into it. I like the I like the design of everything. I like how, you know, yeah, it's a vintage movie, but I like how it looks very vintage. Like it's like, wow, they don't make them like they used to. You don't see things like this. Right? I think the bathroom in the hotel was ugly as fuck,
Yeah,
especially when he has the conversation with the previous caretaker and they're having that conversation. But I like how it doesn't really hold your hand. It's really trying to let you figure out what's going on because I haven't read the book. So because I know if I were to read the book, I would probably get a lot more information into what's going on. But it really is just throwing me into the deep end and trying to figure out, okay, where is this going? What is this leading to? And then you get to the ending, spoilers, you get to the ending where it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. This has happened more than once. This is basically kind of like a cycle that repeats itself. They hire a new person. The person is probably not the nicest guy in the world. He's got some issues, and it's slowly eating and chipping away and intensifying a lot of their vices, a lot of their bad behaviors, and until it surface up and implodes to the point where it's going to absorb him into the hotel, and it kind of like
well,
resets itself. So I
well,
like that.
yeah. Well, the idea is that they want to possess him to kill Danny because they think killing Danny will mean that they can absorb his shining ability to
Yeah, because
come
he's
back to
either
life,
a threat. Yeah, he's either a threat to them or
or they
he's a
could
bad
use the
boy.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like I know one major change in the book that really was the shocker is that the other guy, Scatman Crothers, yeah, he doesn't die in the book like he does in the movie. Uh,
gotcha.
he actually goes on to be like a father figure to Danny and help raise him. Uh, which is they tried to do like a little reference to that in Doctor Sleep in the movie, even though the movie's supposed to be a sequel to the Shining,
Yeah,
so it's kind of funky. But yeah, the movie version of The Shining doesn't really explain or infer much of what's going on, and you kind of have to. Whereas the book kind of lays it out. Another thing the book did better is that it's sort of a gradual deterioration for the family, particularly for Jack. Whereas in the movie,
hmm
it's like when they're driving up to the hotel, you could tell this is just gonna. It's a matter of just counting time until it's gonna hit. The shit's gonna hit the fan because you can tell the guy's a
yeah,
nutcase.
yeah,
Whereas in the book, it was more compelling. You're seeing how a good man who had some problems is starting to be eaten away by this hotel to turn
yeah.
into a monster.
Yeah, because those problems really don't define him, but the hotel is amplifying it into making him into a villain. And then you finally get the iconic scene with the axe. You get the iconic scene with Shelley Duvall just screaming, and it's like, "Yeah, Johnny." And
Improvs ever.
yes, but and I like the camera setup. Like you can tell it's a multi-camera set. Uh, the scene in the bathroom, everything. So as I'm watching when he goes into room 23237, when I'm watching the giant tidal wave of blood, I am then remembering the reference in Ready Player One. Now, when I saw it in Player One, it was going over my head. I was kind of pissed off because I'm like, I have not seen The Shining, and everything I'm seeing should be hitting home in some way, but it's not because I do not know the reference. I have not seen the movie. But watching it, it hits better because my favorite scene in this whole movie is when she looks at the manuscript that he was writing, the draft,
Mm.
and it's the same words over and over and over and over. And I like that because somebody had to type up that stack of papers. Somebody had to type all that up. That's not something that you ask ChatGPT to write for you and print it multiple times. No, somebody spent the week writing all those papers for that one scene. And I'm like, oh my God, this entire time, all he's been writing is, what was it?
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah, all work and no play, just Jack adult boy. And I'm like, wow. Because in Ready Player One, it's just the symbol of the key that they're looking for, and
Yeah.
that's it.
And you can see also how so many other movies have stolen from this. Like when he goes to talk to the bartender, and the bartender's a ghost, and he goes in the bathroom with the red and white highlights, and it's like that's been copied in so many movies. Most recently in The Substance, when uh what's his name? Dennis Quaid's character goes into the bathroom and he's dressed the same, and the
Yeah.
colors of the red and the white, and it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Uh,
Oh, now that you bring it, you know that movie that Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt did when they're on the spaceship going to another planet?
Passengers,
Yeah, Passengers, that scene
yeah.
at the bar, that's straight up. As I'm watching The Shining, I'm like, oh, that's where that came from.
They even copied it in The Fifth Element when Ian Holmes' character
Yes.
he
Yes.
misses he misses getting on the hotel transport thing. So he goes up to the bar and the robot's there and it's dressed the same way and he's asking
Yeah.
him the same questions.
Yeah,
It's
so
great.
yeah, The Shining inspired a lot of, references, and I saw them all right in real time watching the movie, and
Yeah.
I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. That scene where the the other guy, the older black man, when he shows up,
Mike
that's a
Wheeler.
model, right?
What, of the hotel?
The outside, it's a model.
Uh well, the outside of the real hotel is in of the hotel where they filmed is in Oregon. Or yes, it's in Oregon, I
No,
believe.
in the third act, when the black guy goes to check up on them, that scene is model, right? Because it looks like a toy.
Maybe. You mean like when he parks outside the hotel
Yeah, when
and
the
it's
camera's
freezing?
outside and he's beeping, he's honking the horn of the snowplow. I'm like, that looks like a model, like a miniature.
It might be, or they put an extra facade in front of the hotel because
Probably, yeah, because they
uh
do climb out of the hotel at some point.
yeah, and that was one of the other key differences in the book is that in the book the hotel burns and in the movie it freezes, which Stephen King kind of summed up as being one of the key differences thematically. But yeah, because it's funny because in the movie the only thing that the Shining ability ends up doing is allowing the caretaker, Scatman Crothers, to try and come save them, and even though he gets killed, they still have the snowplow to make their escape. Uh, Whereas in the book, it was a bit more vivid, and of course, Shelley Duvall wasn't batshit crazy in the book. They
Yeah,
cast Shelley Duvall and Stanley Kubrick just beat her up constantly.
yeah.
Uh,
If The Shining had never been made, you know who would be perfect for her character? The
hmm.
Mia Goth. They're so similar.
Old Man Bird wonders, was that the first time someone is lost in a garden maze in a movie? Maybe. I mean, it's certainly the best version of that,
Probably.
I would say.
I
Uh,
mean, I would not want to be lost in that maze. The way when he's chasing Danny, oh my God, like get me out of there.
and that's even without all the topiaries coming to life to attack them, like in one of the sequences in the book. Like when Danny and his mom first go into the maze when it's not winter yet, and yeah, all the topiaries of the cart of animals come to life and attack, but because of the limitations of
Didn't
special
that get
effects, they didn't do it.
adapted at some point?
It did as a TV movie, which was Hewed close to
Yes,
the book, but was very cheap and very low budget, and like, eh.
yes. Now that you bring it up, I remember seeing something where there's like a
Mhm.
lion staring someone. I only remember that clip, thinking, "Why is there a lion made out of grass?" And I never got an answer for that years later, but now I do.
Well, also in regards to whether or not someone was lost in a garden maze, I got the impression from, well, it wasn't quite a maze in Bram Stoker's Dracula, the one that Coppola did, when Lucy goes out into the garden and gets kind of lost or whatever, and Dracula attacks, a sort of similar type of idea. But I guess, oh wait, that was second. Never mind, that was the 90s.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, Old Man Bird also says Danny DeVito was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I had to check that out. Yeah, he was Martini. And Brad Dourif was there as well. He was the main kid that Ratchet is always,
Yeah.
that gets in the end. But yeah, that was a
Yeah,
great.
it's so wonderful in a way just seeing, man, look at how young you guys are
Yeah,
because Kat, you and I are used to these guys as veterans. They're seasoned. Like
yeah.
seeing them so young, I'm like, oh my God, you were young once.
It was funny. There was actually, speaking of Danny DeVito in that movie, there was an episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they spoofed that, where Frank ends up getting shanghaied into an institution, and they actually tracked down. So the actor who played the Native American guy in the movie, they tracked down his real life son because that actor had passed away to play the same role in this parody
Oh,
episode.
wow.
Helps him break out by smashing the
That's
window. He's like, "Come on,
that's
come on!"
cool.
Danny's like, "Come on, come on with it. Let's get the hell out of here." And they're playing the
That's
same
cool.
music as he's running across the parking lot trying to get away. But
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, the Shining. Wow, at least you finally knocked that one off the bucket list because so many
Yeah.
people
Now,
referenced it.
the last thing I'm gonna bring up is because I've already mentioned this multiple times. The scene down the hallway with the elevators where the pool of blood come in.
Oh yeah, it's been done a lot too.
Yes. Is that meant to look like an evil face, the wall?
I mean, it kind of does, but I'm not sure if that was deliberate because it's like,
No, because when the blood hits the camera, the light fixtures at the top and the doors make it look like it's an evil laugh, like an evil face.
it might
And I
be.
don't know if that was intentional or if anybody has ever picked it up because I saw it immediately. I'm like, oh my God, that looks like the devil's face is staring me down.
Yeah, it might be. I'm not exactly sure. I
Or
know that the
I just found Jesus in the chip. That's what happened.
I know that they filmed that in Pinewood, and they took up, like, 9 stages or something for this set,
Yeah.
and they accidentally burned down one of the stages with the
Oh God.
and and it caused a delay in Empire Strikes Back because they were supposed to rent out that same stage for Dagobah or something.
Oh God, of course. Yeah, and you know what? Now that you bring it up, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but they still both
But
got out around the same time.
oh no, yeah. But great acting from Jack Nicholson, especially
Oh, yeah.
when when Shelley approaches him with the bat, thinking that there's somebody there, and then he starts
Mhm.
just having his monologue, basically tearing her down limb from limb verbally, just calling her all the nastiest things possible. I'm like, oh wow, look at you go. You're acting your ass off. Damn.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
alright, so that one was good, and the next one, I might have already told you because I did eventually watch it recently, but I figured for the purposes of this show, maybe we'll shock our audience. Uh this is a movie from the 80s, buddy cop comedy, spawned many sequels, as well
Oh
as some
God.
hilarious spoofs on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I mentioned again,
Oh God.
and that is Lethal Weapon.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I I don't dear bad dear bad
You
guys, no one here but
you're
us cops,
kidding
sorry
me,
to the good guys.
really? You've
Really,
never seen Lethal Weapon.
I never
Wow.
I never the only thing I had seen from it is the final fight with Gary Busey on the lawn. Uh,
Wow.
I had never seen that movie because it's like, if it's not on TV, I'm not watching it, and it wasn't really on streaming services either, and so and frankly, a lot of the people I know, I'm sure it's a popular movie, but nobody's ever talking about it, so I never really felt the urge to go and watch it because it's not something that I come across in pop culture lexicon very often. So I finally, I saw that Steel Book Price was cheap. I'm going to see this movie and go for it. Uh, I thought the first 25 minutes was a little slow to start. I thought, and for our favorite phrase, because the plot demanded it, Around the halfway point, around the halfway point, the movie conveniently forgets that Riggs is suicidal and unstable because they need him to be a good cop for the movie. And then they bring it up again at the very end of the movie when he gives the bullet back to the kid, saying, "Here, give this to your dad because I don't need it anymore." Uh, I thought it was pretty paint by numbers. I was surprised it wasn't as funny as I would have thought, given the pairing of Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, especially since Danny Glover's like the responsible family man. And we've seen him play cops get really stressed out before, like in Predator 2 and stuff. And he's kind of doing the
Yeah.
same thing here. I did enjoy seeing how this movie obviously set templates for a lot of other buddy cop stuff, and even how
Mhm.
Shane Black recycled things from this movie, even though he wrote it, he didn't
Mhm.
direct it. But like like the helicopter attack on the Malibu cliffside mansion, which of course he redid in Iron Man 3, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Um, I
Yeah,
admit,
and this movie also set the stage for a lot of tropes when it comes to
Mhm.
cops. It's like, realistically speaking, 90% of the shit that these guys get into would either suspend them without pay or internal investigations. But in the movie world, I'm like, oh, you blew up a building? It's fine. You're back to work the next day.
oh yeah, it's very 80s in that way, and it's sort of,
Very 80s.
well, it's the thing which I thought was the most 80s, and I'm like, come on, is when they get Busey at gunpoint at the end, and instead of just cuffing him right there, it's like, no, let's have a big brawl on the lawn just because. And it's
Yes.
really, and they throw in the slow motion and stuff with it. And there was even a brief moment right before they crashed the car into the house where I'm like, Busey, you should have seen that coming. Maybe a little second slow on the uptake, but uh, I thought, okay, but that was really kind of funny. That, yeah, very 80s movie, and I like how all the cops are gathering around and watching it, almost like it's like they're about to bet in some illicit fight.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
because
see-
like, again, that would never happen. Everybody would be separating
right.
that part. But because it's been built up, you're like, oh, he's the villain. He's the unlikely hero. We got to see them go.
And I thought it was funny also that the Busey's character is like, oh, he was drug running as part of Air America, which I thought was a funny thing, because Gibson ended up being in the comedy movie Air America a few years later, which was a
Yeah.
highly fictionalized, sanitized version of that program.
Yeah.
Uh, but that was, so I finally saw it, and it's like, I've been told the first two were good, and then 3 and 4, whatever. But yeah, I finally got around to watching it.
Yeah.
It
I
was
will
good.
say,
It's a trendsetter, but I don't feel like I was really missing out on anything by not
yeah.
having seen it all those years. I gave it 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah. I will say, if at any point you get to bring it up in future episodes of the pile, the sequels get funnier
Mm.
because you get one with Joe Pesci, you get one with Chris Rock, and then you get the fourth one with Jet Li.
I do strangely remember the trailers for Lethal Weapon 4 on TV a lot back in the 90s, and Chris Rock being in that one. Or whichever number it was, and for some reason that sticks in my mind, seeing that TV spot play a lot back then,
Yeah.
even though I didn't see it. But yeah, all four of them directed by Richard Donner, which I thought, oh,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
that's surprising to get the same guy to do all of them. That's nice.
And I'm still wondering if Mel Gibson is still going to direct the fifth one because after Richard Donner passed away, he said, "Oh yeah, I'll do it."
I mean, I think they're really pushing it because Danny Glover's
I
like,
know they are. I know they're pushing it. I know they took a. I think the Hollywood Reporter or Variety. I don't know who it was. They took a picture of him and Glover in the car, and they're talking about we're too old for this shit or something like that.
mhm.
But I'm like, are you guys going? You're gonna do it? You're gonna do it? Like, I'll watch it. Let's do it.
Yeah, because they were at a con. I think it was just last year, and it was the first time they'd seen each other since Lethal Weapon 4, and
Yeah.
they were talking about it again. And I don't know if the fact that Hollywood is still iffy on Mel Gibson, if that's going to be a roadblock to getting it going. We'll
Or am
see.
I rehabilitated?
Maybe. Oh yes, Old Man Bird says diplomatic immunity revoked. Now you guys see, yes, Lethal Weapon 2 about the
Yes.
guys who have diplomatic
Yeah,
immunity.
Lethal Weapon
Yeah,
2. I will say that if you thought shit hit the fan in this one, it's gonna hit the fan in the sequel.
yeah, I did hear the premise of that one. That one sounds fun, but
Like I'm saying, like there is a scene where I remember watching it as a kid where my jaw dropped because it was boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh my god, this is happening. Shit.
yeah, I think if I had seen that as a little kid and kind of grew up with it, I would like it more.
Yeah.
Uh, Watching it now, it's kind of like, it was okay. I mean, it was fine. I think other buddy cop comedies I like better, like The Nice Guys, which is another one that Shane Black wrote, or Kiss Kiss Bang
So,
Bang and stuff like that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's Lethal Weapon. So what's your next one, Ernesto?
Well, my next one won't really be much of a shocker, a jaw dropper, or anything. But given that these one of the directors of this movie I'm about to bring up directed one that has a lot of Oscar buzz right now. In lieu of Marty Supreme coming out recently, I decided to get around to watching Good Time
Oh,
with
okay.
Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie.
Hmm.
It's one of their earlier movies. Um, and I don't know, it's I think the moment you brought it up to do this, I'm like, you know what? Since I saw Marty Supreme and I bought the Blu-ray for Good Time, I'm like, hey, might as well since I recently just watched a Safdie movie. I like this one, and I liked it a bit better than Marty Supreme, only because I was hating Marty Mouser the whole time I was
Yeah.
watching Marty Supreme, and who was it that wrote? I think was it Deadline, Variety, or the Hollywood Reporter. Somebody wrote an article basically shaming me, and not me directly, but people like me for not liking Marty Mouse. I'm like, well,
Oh,
fuck
I
you
read
too,
that. I'm
then.
like, that guy's so full of shit. But
Yeah, it's like no. Like, here's the
it,
thing: I will acknowledge that everything that happens around Marty Mouser, I like very much. I like everything that everybody gets into trying to please this motherfucker of a con man in order for him to go play ping pong with chopsticks in Japan.
yeah.
But here it's like, no, you know what? Robert Pattinson's character, he's doing it out of love for his brother. He's not doing good things, but you can see where he's coming from. He is desperate because his brother
Well,
is
he
not.
he really fucks up in the beginning though when he takes his
No, no.
brother out of the rehab center to
Yes,
do a
he.
bank robbery.
Again, I am not excusing the shit that he does, but it's coming
Yeah,
from a good place.
yeah,
Marty
trying to
Mouser was
correct
not
him,
coming
right?
from a good place. He fucks
Yeah.
everybody over.
Yeah, I read that article you're talking about, and he's like, "Oh, people who say he's not likable sound like studio executives." I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? The guy's an asshole. And he tells his pregnant girlfriend to her face that, you know what? Some people have a purpose. I have a purpose in this life that's very important. You don't. And it's like I get that he was trying to shake her because he wanted to leave, but you can tell
Yeah,
he actually believes that. You know, like
yeah,
the line and when he says he's trying to get in the world championships of ping pong, and he's talking about his fellow Jewish competitor, and he says, "I'm going to do to him what Auschwitz couldn't." And the guy's shocked. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm Jewish. I can say that." I'm like, "Oh my fucking
yeah,
god, this guy's such an
yeah. It's like
asshole."
go fuck yourself.
I
Yeah,
know, and
but
it's like the guy, but the whole movie's like that, and I mean, I guess while we're talking about it, since we might as well talk about that movie too. I mean, I thought between the three movies that they've done like that, Good Time, Uncut Gems, and um, Marty Supreme, that Marty's definitely the most unlikable of those three protagonists. And this
yeah,
one was Marty Supreme was also very episodic. I thought Good Time and Uncut Gems is a bit more staying on target. Whereas this
yeah,
one, it was so episodic that I really felt that runtime. It's like, okay, this movie doesn't need to be this long to get the
hmm
point across. And I
yeah,
didn't think. I mean, I love ping pong. I think ping pong, soon, fight me, but I think it's a lot more exciting than tennis. Because the response time is just basically next to nothing. You don't have time to think about it. Like with tennis, it's like, yeah, you got to constantly dart to the other side of the court, but at least you have a couple seconds to think about how you're gonna swing the racket. Whereas ping pong is just insane. Um, but a funny story when he was promoting the movie, uh, like he was doing an interview with Gwyneth Paltrow, and she showed him a photo of the real guy that his character is loosely based on, and he's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "You fucking kidding me?" It's like even I recognized who that was. So that was funny, but yeah, Good Time. I missed that when it first came out. I didn't hear about it, and I didn't see it until after Uncut Gems, and I
yeah.
liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Definitely one
I
of the
didn't see it. I didn't see it because a
that's
lot of the
yeah.
promos made it look like a disgusting movie, and I'm like, I'm not in the mood for a disgusting movie
Mhm.
because every promotional image, even what little I could see
Mhm.
from a TV spot, was portraying every character that I was seeing as a disgusting looking individual, and I'm like, I'm not in the mood for this shit. Like, I get that. Like, this is literally my headspace when this was being promoted. I'm like, I'm not in the mood for this shit. Pattinson, I get you're trying to be taken seriously after the Twilight bullshit you had to do for a paycheck, but not today, man. Not today.
Well, funny
But
you mentioned that because I think this is the movie I would show people who say, "Oh, he's just a Twilight guy." I'm like, no, watch Good Time.
no, yeah. You know what? I will support you there because what I'm basically trying to get is that yeah, Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems and Robert Pattinson in Good Time, they both get themselves into shit. However, there's something about them that hooks you into following that journey.
Yeah,
And although in this case he's doing everything for his brother, even though he got him in trouble in the first place, you're like watching it and you're just like, oh god, what are you gonna do next? Why are you doing that? Come on, man. But then you can't look away because it's a slow moving car accident and you can't not watch what's gonna happen. And it's like worse after worse after worse. I'm like, my god, dude, quick while you're ahead. It's
yeah,
not worth it. And out of all the people who he fucked over in this movie, and again, I'm not excusing it, and I know I just mentioned that Marty Mouser is unlikable, but the one person that really got fucked over that it's like you can't come back from that was the security guard at the theme park. Holy
oh yeah,
fucking shit. Out of all the things that could have gone, they picked the holy fuck, what the hell are you doing to that man? That guy's innocent. He's just doing his job. How could you do that to him?
and clue in the audience as to what it is that they did to him.
Yeah, so first, the security guard arrests because he's with another guy that, okay, so let me set this up. So he goes to the hospital where he thinks his brother is, and he breaks him out of the hospital, and he stays at the house of these people that he met at the medical van, and he's basically hiding out there until someone can pick him up and avoid the police. Come to the person he took out of the hospital thinking it was his brother was somebody else because he didn't think to check the file or the chart to make sure it was his brother. And it was a two-bit criminal guy that was arrested. So it turns into another thing where they have to return to the hospital. And on the way to the hospital, the guy is talking about how his friends robbed a Radio Shack, dating the setting of this movie, robbed a Radio Shack, and Robert Pattinson is thinking, "Oh, I need that money to bail out my brother because he's got to pay a $10,000 bond for it." So they go to this amusement park to find the money, and as they're in there, the security guard busts the the guy he broke out of the hospital, and then he's tied up in the security guard. And the security guard comes back to look for Robert Pattinson's character, and Robert Pattinson tackles him and proceeds to beat the shit out of him and knocks him out conscious. But the security guard had already called the police, and the police is like, "Yo, Nassau County Police Department, come on out, where are you?" So thinking on his feet, he takes off all the security clothes off the security guard, wears it, impersonates him, and while that's happening, the other guy, he pulls out a bottle of pure liquid acid and starts drowning the guy with it. He's gonna take all this and not gonna remember a goddamn thing. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing to him? So Robert, and I am laughing at this point because it is terrible, but it is also darkly funny because you can't believe it's getting this bad.
Yeah,
So he walks out, he's like, "Hey man, come on, follow me. He's inside." I chased him out, and he's knocked out. Police are tending to him. They call EMS. EMS wakes him up, and he starts speaking in gibberish because he's high. And he's like, and then they tie him up and they put him in a stretcher with his arms handcuffed to the stretcher, and they're taking it. I'm like, no, he's innocent. What are you
uh,
doing? Oh my fucking god!
yeah. It was things like that, and then you keep watching, and the train wreck just—it's like you can't stop watching it. It's just a big train
No,
wreck.
you can't stop what. And then when it finally hits orbit and crashes and burn, you're like, yep, it could only end one way. Like, because they were trying to locate him for like 48 hours since all this started. and you see this Odyssey. It's kind of like watching an Odyssey, a version of the Odyssey, where he's meeting all these different people. He's trying to, get money out of them. So because he's doing. It's like Rain Man. If Rain Man had a shittier brother, and he's putting him in a shittier situation. Like, we're not counting cards, we're stealing the money directly, and we're not thinking this through, basically.
Yeah,
But
and it gets crazier and crazier.
it gets crazier and crazier, and you get to see the finale, and the finale is kind of bittersweet because his brother finally returns to grandma. They put him in a program that's supposed to be good for him, and you don't see the brother after he got arrested. It's implied that, yeah, he went to serve time, and who knows if he or when he'll get out.
Yeah. Uh, it's just atone for your sins.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the actor that played the security guard was the guy that played the ship pirate in Captain Phillips.
uh, yes, Barkhad Abdi, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was great in that. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
but very good movie. Very good movie. I think I prefer Uncut Gems
yeah,
of all the movies they made. I would
same.
put this second, and Marty, well, again, excluding Marty, everything else around it is fine. But yeah, that's how I would rank them.
Yeah, I'd got to see Marty again before I decide where I'm going to rank that one amongst the three. But Uncut Gems
Yeah,
is my favorite, and it's a shame. It's like the two brothers did the first two, and then just Josh did Marty Supreme, and
yeah.
I'm like, having seen that in the Smashing Machine, 2 months apart. Somebody wrote a hilarious letterbox review, and he's like, "Man, a brother has not." After he watched Marty Supreme, he said, "A brother has not murdered another nor more horribly since Cain and Abel." So just how much better Marty Supreme was than the Smashing Machine, and it's like, yeah, because I remember being upset when Benny Safdie confirmed a few years ago that we're going to go our own separate ways now, and for the foreseeable future, we're not going to be making movies together anymore. Because I really liked Good Time and Uncut Gems, but then after watching Marty Supreme, I'm like, oh, that was all Joss.
Yeah.
uh,
But
but
I
yeah.
hope that they, it is a shame, but regardless of
Well, I mean,
Marty,
I meant, and because of Marty Supreme, it isn't so much a shame because it turns out that Josh is kind of feels to be
yeah.
one of the brains behind those first two
Oh
movies.
yeah. But
Uh,
maybe at least with Benny, at least he can, still work on his craft. Like, it's just okay. Yeah, one setback. Go for the next
yeah,
one.
and I do like the funny celebrity cameos. Like Uncut Gems had, John Amos
Yeah.
as because so he actually lived in that apartment building. He's like, yeah, my kid needs to go to the bathroom. He's like, no, he can't come in. Whereas Marty Supreme has Penn Jillette, uh, which was
Remind
just
me,
good.
who was Penn Jillette? I think I blinked and missed it.
No, he was the farmer with the shotgun.
That was okay. I am so used to Penn Jillette looking a certain way that it never
Right.
crossed my mind that that was him.
And I can't remember what the story was behind him getting cast, but there was an interesting story behind that. But I'll have to ask my buddy Tony, who is part of um some paid club, and he gets to Zoom with Penn every once in a while.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm not
Wow,
in. I'm not in
shit.
that club, but he was in that
Can
club.
I
He told me the story once.
can I get some Gillette for my shaving cream while you're at it, mister?
Maybe,
I stream with Gillette all the time. Shit.
yeah, just promote it. Uh, it's fun. I do like that. Good Time got a shout out in the Batman. Uh, in the opening montage because Good Time is the name of the liquor store that the Drophead robs. Uh,
All right. Okay.
in the neon letters outside that are lit up outside. So I thought that was funny.
All right. All right. I
Um,
see you. I see you.
uh, and you guys mentioned Cuckoo's Nest earlier, and I picked that one up recently. I've never had this movie before, and I was holding out because I just had a feeling that 50th anniversary they were going to put a 4K transfer out. So I held off.
I have that in my wish list to buy.
Yeah, and that's widely available. I'm surprised that one didn't sell out pretty quickly like some other ones. Uh, and I
It's
really
funny.
wish,
It's
yeah,
funny you mentioned that. It's funny how some movies sell out more than others, even though they should be selling out equally.
yeah, like the Ben Hur one, which only got announced, so it's sold out in like an
The
hour.
one that the
But
one that pissed me off that sold out that I didn't even know it was out for pre-order was Boogie Nights.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that either until after it was already there, and I admit I wasn't crazy about that movie, even though I love Paul Thomas
Me
Anderson.
neither, but I want that steelbook. That's a bitchin' cover.
That's true. It is a pretty bitchin' cover. I'm sure they'll probably do another run
Oh,
of that.
sure. It's just like, fuck you, man. How could you sell out?
I did pre-order the One Battle After Another steelbook, which is going to release in 12 days, and the artwork still has not been revealed.
Oh
And for some
God.
reason, I'm not getting it till March 6th because that's the current delivery date.
Yeah, and as I already mentioned to Kat, I pre-ordered because I was gonna get the 4K, but for whatever reason I held off on getting it. I pre-ordered the steelbook for The Wild Robot, which ended
Okay.
up being my favorite movie of 2024.
Mm. Seeing as we're still early in the show, I guess we could talk about other films we've seen recently. Did you by
Yes,
chance?
let me pull up my diary because I've been
Uh,
stocking up on movies I've been watching.
I guess the one I've seen twice now is Avatar: Fire and Ash.
How
Uh,
was it the second time?
the second time it felt longer. Uh, because I didn't want to see it a second time because I saw it in 3D the first time. The 3D is awesome because native 3D is just amazing.
Oh, especially in IMAX. Woo!
Yeah, I didn't see it in IMAX, but I saw it in 2D yesterday because a friend insisted he wanted me to go with him. I'm like, okay. It felt longer, and it's funny because I previously opined that The Way of Water felt like the bridge to the third movie because so little happened in that movie. But I'm watching this, and it's like there's virtually no story or character progression at all in this movie. It's this repeating a lot of the beats of the previous one, and I could swear that Cameron just copy pasted the entire third act of Way of Water for Fire and Ash. And yeah, the Ash tribe is there, but they're barely in it, or they're not really the focus of it. And the thing he did right in the first two movies is he gave you visually strikingly different things, like the rainforests and the floating mountains in the first one, the oceans and the coastline in the second one. So I didn't think it was unreasonable to expect that a movie called Fire and Ash would feature a lot of volcanoes and the Ash tribe's scorched territory and all that, and bring the fight there. No, we only get one little scene there, and Varang was badass. Una Chaplin was great as that character, and I like how she kind of has this childlike fascination with fire and guns, even though she's like very bloodthirsty and stuff. But there's no depth to that character at all.
Can I
Uh,
just say, and you might not agree with this, but a lot of people have mentioned it. This is probably the first time, even with the first two movies, this is probably the first time where I was sitting in the theater and I'm like, man, Beren can get it. She's hot.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Everybody.
there was something she was doing with her bottom lip where I'm just like, woo, girl.
Oh yeah, that was very deliberate. They even hinted the whole dominatrix aspect of it with this
Like,
character.
holy crap, Stephen Lang, you stud. You get it. You
Yeah,
get
and,
some knobby tail. Why
and
don't
that's
you?
the thing. I felt that there was a point in the movie when they get to the RD. He takes her to the RDA base, and I could sense that the story was going to have a neat shift, and then it didn't. It just kind of, in a sense, went backwards. So it's like after watching this movie, it's like you really didn't add anything from the second movie. Like nothing changed. It's like
Yeah.
basically collectively, it's a 6-hour story. Uh, and it's like, and he's saying, "Oh, I really hope this one makes money so I can make the fourth one." It's like, well, why did the third one not really do anything? It's like, it's just. I mean, I admit if I had to pick your poison, because the third movie also inadvertently renders the previous film pointless. You could just skip it and you're not really lost. It's like, yeah, okay, they live on the coast now, and Quaritch is back, and oh my god, Spider was the most obnoxious character. His dialogue is so god awful. Got to be some of the worst dialogue Cameron has ever written, and he was just grating as a character in this movie. Um, but that being said, I think the third one is paced better than the second one, and it's been a while. I haven't seen the second one for 3 years, so I'd have to go back and watch that one again to remember if I like it more. But I literally felt like I was having moments of deja vu throughout the climax. It's like, really, we're doing the whale hunt again. Oh, the ship is sinking again, and oh, he's got the family hostage on the ship again. Oh, and Jake's telling his son to go around the side with the gun again. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's like, so I don't know. Yeah, it could have been better, but I thought, it was average. It was okay. It was another Avatar movie. It's like if you're obsessed with the Avatar movies, you'll like it. Otherwise, I don't know. Uh, so that was that film, and we'll get your thoughts when you snap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll mention my part. Sorry, my earphones ran out of juice. So I got to charge them.
Oh, it's all right.
No, so funny story. So when I told Kat I was gonna go watch Fire and Ash, that's when I was on my way to when you were doing your F1, I
Yeah.
told you that I was on my way to go see the movie, and that's when you asked me, why in God's name are you going to watch Fire and Ash at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
And I told her, well, because I wanted to see it, now that I have a dog and I'm dealing with a cat, I can't just up and leave, because typically prior to me becoming a pet owner, I would have probably left work and go straight to the movie theater for a 7 o'clock showing and then be home by midnight or however long what it is. So I'm like, you know what? It's fine. But here's the thing. I went to a 10 o'clock showing of that movie after working a 10-hour shift and after being up for another 4 hours just to go watch the movie. So I've been basically up for 14 hours that day. And here I am sitting down to watch an almost 3.5 hour movie. And at some point, my eyes were getting heavy, not because I was bored, but because the exhaustion was catching up with me. So I did struggle to stay awake in some scenes. But then when we got to the later half of the movie, that's when I really woke up
Yeah.
because the action was ramping up a lot. I feel that The Way of Water was intended to be a 6-hour movie, and he split it in two. And they called it Fire and Ash because there is a segment with the other Navi tribe that are they're non-believers. They don't believe in Awa. They're more
They're atheists.
yes, they're basically atheists. And I figured that's why this movie was called Fire and Ash, because because that plot line with the atheist Navi was what it should have been its own movie. And I agree,
Yeah.
it does repeat a lot of the beats because we're still dealing with the whaling essentially. So I think that The Way of Water is essentially a 6-hour movie. You could have called this movie The Way of Water Part 2 because we're still dealing with the whaling message of the previous movie.
Right. But then it doesn't add any depth to that. It's like it's literally the same message again.
Yes,
And
and again, I agree. It's the same thing, and I agree when you mentioned that he literally copy pasted the fight scene, especially where you see Jake just standing there looking at all the flying creatures, and I'm like, that looks like it's lifted from the first movie. And there's even a scene where he's riding Taruk Makto and he's yelling while he's doing a skyscraper attack. I'm like, again, copy pasted from the first movie.
yeah.
And even their daughter, that's basically a clone of Sigourney Weaver's character, she's basically calling backup. And I'm like, again, we're going back to the first movie.
Yeah. It's like again, James Cameron's
But
never
that
done
being
something better.
said, I had a great time watching it. It didn't hit as hard as the first two because, again, this one is regurgitating. And my favorite part was anytime Barang and Lang were on screen. They were really holding this together. Not that I don't like the Sully family, especially Neytiri's character, because she was going through it emotionally as a
Yeah.
mother. You know what? You know what my favorite scene of this whole movie was? And it has nothing to do with the the adult characters. It had everything to do with Spider, and only because the most realistic scene in this movie is when they're all sleeping, and he starts hyperventilating because he's running out of oxygen. And I saw that as one of the most realistic family moments, or that a family can go through, because it is no different than a family that has a kid that eats peanuts and they're allergic to peanuts and they're having a anaphylactic shock, and then everybody's freaking out because where's the EpiPen? Where's the EpiPen? Where's the EpiPen? And this is how I saw that scene. It's like, where's the oxygen? Where's the oxygen? Where's the oxygen? I'm like, holy shit, this kid can die. Somebody get him some oxygen.
That's another thing I was surprised by. It's like, what's your long-term plan for this? Which is why he finally gets the bright idea to send him with the Wind Traders, because I guess the air isn't as toxic up there.
No, I think they were just going to take him back to where the other humans were.
Oh, there. Okay, yeah. So because
That's why they were going with the Wind Traders.
Yeah, because it's like, and I'm thinking, where are they salvaging all these masks from, and why do they still have their oxygen? Because didn't everybody?
I think it's because they probably still have some equipment that can process the oxygen and break it down so it's breathable, so they'll have oxygen forever.
And I did agree with General Ardmore when she says to Corch that you're grounded permanently, because it's like, you've had how many chances to complete this simple mission, and you keep screwing it up, and you keep not doing it.
Yeah, Yeah, and I'm actually glad that happens because we've seen time and time again where the same villain keeps coming over and over. They never accomplish it, yet somehow they're still being employed or being sent out on these missions. I'm like, dude, it's like when you're watching Transformers on Saturday morning cartoon. The Decepticons lose so many times. I'm surprised Megatron hasn't spared you for parts.
Yeah, and it's like you already did the Korch revenge story decently enough in the second one, and it wasn't any better in this one. It was just more of the same, and it's like this
And
is
there was
where,
an opportunity to do something new because at some point
well,
Quaritch
yeah,
gets stuck with them and it's short lived. I'm like, again, you had 3 hours and you can't extend this longer?
that he what with them?
When he was stuck with them
Oh, right, yeah,
to find the
and
kids, I'm like, oh, you know what? This is a great dynamic. Put Jake
right.
Sully and Quaritch in the same room and have them work with each other. An alliance of convenience. I would love to see that.
Well, that was like in the second one. The interesting part of that movie was the relationship between Korch and Spider. I'm like, that
Yeah,
is really interesting, and then it doesn't really go anywhere in this movie.
yeah.
Um, but also they had such an opportunity at the RDA base to take the story in another direction with Varang. It's like, no,
Hmm.
this is where Varang's going to take over, and she's going to realize that, oh, you're just using me because you guys want to exterminate all of us. And then I thought she was going to tell him to basically fuck off and take Spider and the weapons and shit back to her territories. Like, because she talks about, even though they're atheists, that we're going to have a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so she's like fostering this cult around fire and death. So it's like, yeah, take the kid and flee back to your territory. Quaritch will try and save him. General Ardmore's like, I'm done with this shit. Send so we're going to postpone the whale hunt to throw all we got to shut down these bastards. And
Yeah.
Jake would be like, great, let them kill each other. But let's say the kids go to save Spider. Oh, Jake's got to help him. And then maybe, which I was waiting for it to happen in this movie, it doesn't. I wanted the Cliff Curtis character who leads the coastal tribe. I wanted him to not have to turn to Jake for answers all the time. I wanted him to actually stand up for himself and take a stand.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like
have
he's
him
been
show up.
doing this longer than Jake has. I'm surprised that's
Yeah,
what happened.
and it's like I wanted him to take a stand because I was like, yeah, let's take the fight to the Ash People's territory. Quaritch could prove his allegiance to Varang by just killing Ardmore because she's already fed up with him anyway, and have the Water Tribe show up and be like, hey, you Ash people, you fuckers betrayed all of Pandora. You threw in with the Sky people. Now you've got their weapons, and since the coastal people don't like the idea of using guns, and they would go there to disarm them instead of outright genocide. Have a big fight and have it set, in the volcanoes and stuff. Give us a new climax, something that looks different. Instead,
Oh, give me an avatar that's covered in fire because they teased it when
yeah,
Varang had her hands. I'm like, oh, are we gonna see a fire Navi? I'm like, no, you goddamn tease.
yeah, and it's like how they tease that she's using drugs and stuff to kind of control them, but she has this kind of cult,
That's a
and
mean bush.
right, and it's,
I like that line. I'm sorry, I love that line.
yeah, some of his lines are just, oh my god,
And
but
considering they actually bang, it's like, oh yeah, that line makes it's even funnier now. That's a mean bush.
right, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but I could swear there was a TV spot or a trailer where not only did you say that Iowa did not come to save us, but that the other Na'vi didn't either. Because we never find out why the Ash tribe doesn't like the other Na'vi. They just don't. And
No, there is no, like, again, that's one of the things where you're setting up an interesting angle with
yeah,
these fire Navi, and you like, even in the first trailer, your goddess has no dominion here. I'm like,
yeah,
oh shit, what are
yeah,
we in for? And we're just like, bro, come on, why do you keep teasing me like this?
yeah. Because I mean, one of the very first things James Cameron said about Avatar 3 is that, oh, we're gonna meet the bad Na'vi, and we're like, what's that? Oh, the fire Na'vi, the Ash people from the volcanoes. It's like, awesome. No, not a volcano in sight. No fire. It's like, what is this exactly? Oh, this is where I feel that James Cameron, having the career that he has behind him, is where you don't have an editor, so to speak, or an executive intervene and say, we need to fix this script because this is just the same thing again, and you're not taking the opportunities to expand these characters. But you can't. He's got too much clout, so you can't stop
Oh,
him.
it's like, bro, look at my track record. What do you want me to do? I'm like, okay, hey, yeah, I
Yeah,
can't. Hey, you almost made Aquaman in the fictional world, but okay.
yeah.
But
So
again, Despite all that, I still had a good time with it. So, and I would like to rewatch it, not in movie theaters because my schedule is all over the place.
Yeah,
Uh, the other movies I've seen, I watched The Housemaid.
I did too. Yeah.
It's trashy, but it's good trash.
Hmm.
It's like going to get a Big Mac. You don't feel too bad about it, but you do enjoy it. And there's a rumor that the actor that plays the husband might be our Batman. Nothing confirmed yet. It's just rumor. And I'm like, you know what? I see it.
Well, yeah,
I
because
don't.
somebody mentioned that, and then he picked up on it on social media. He's like, "Yes, please keep saying that because I would love for that to be true."
But the thing is that the guy is so built.
He
Like,
is.
good lord, you are built like a superhero. And then when I started hearing things about him being rumored, I'm like, you know what? I'll take him. He's got the
Yeah.
look. He's got the build.
Yeah.
I
But yeah,
can
the
totally see him
housemaid.
being the father to a 13-year-old assassin ninja.
I like the first half of the housemaid, and then it's like the part that you know is coming. It just, I mean, it doesn't exactly fall off a cliff. But like you said, it's trash. It's good trash. So
Yeah, it's very good trashy, and they're already working on a sequel. Um, I saw, and I wasn't planning on seeing it, but I was curious.
mhm.
I saw David from Angel Studios. This had an opportunity to be like Prince of Egypt,
Yeah,
but this was very harmless. This was very G. This
very
was
safe.
very, you know what? This is good for little kids if conservative families want them to see something that's very, for everybody and you're trying to give them a nice Christian upbringing. That's what this movie is for. The animation is ab- above average. It's not Disney quality, but it's going for it. That's why I brought up the Prince of Egypt because the character designs are very reminiscent of the Prince of Egypt character look wise. I like the design that they did for Goliath,
Mm.
but it was also kind of boring in some areas. And because they're making it into a musical, I'm like, there is not a single song in this movie that is memorable that I am humming to myself. Even the big song, like the main song, it's fine. But again, I am not humming it after watching it. It's like it's not very catchy. It's not something that's gonna be an earworm. So I'm like, okay. But for what it was going for and for what the audience that is the target for this, you could do worse. You could do a lot worse.
Yeah, and then it's also like, Angel Studios always does the super cheesy stuff. They don't. It's like, dude, look to something like you said, like the Prince of Egypt, because that's that's the gold standard for those types of movies.
Exactly. Like, you know what? We're not asking for accuracy, but we are asking for you to blow our minds away a bit. Like, do
Yeah.
something with it. Make yourself stand out.
Yeah. Another one I saw was the new SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. It
You
opened
and
against
SpongeBob, I would never have thought.
it opened. Oh, Bernie and I loved watching that as kid and swapping and talking about it all the time and
That's
swapping
cool.
memes
I
about
didn't
it.
know. That's nice to know.
Well, for the first 3 seasons. I mean, after that, it dropped off and became crap. But I've only seen the first movie, and I think I saw the second one. I can't remember, but this opened against Avatar to $16 million, and I thought, oh, that's bad. It has since bounced back and is up to $114 million, so it's already broken even on the production budget.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's good. It feels like it's almost twice as long as it should be because it's like they're trying to stretch it to make it a feature length movie. It even
Yeah.
opens with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles short film that's very anti Chat GPT, anti AI, which is like, okay.
Is it in the same vein as the previous movie that came out, like same animation style?
It's sort of like 3D claymation in a way,
Oh, okay.
or better than that. It's not. It's not solid claymation. It's like it's kind of weird looking. It's unique. I'll put it that way.
I'm assuming it's from the previous movie. It has that same look, like it's claymation.
Sort of, yeah, but it's digital animation.
Exactly.
And so,
It's closer to Into the Spider-Verse type of animation.
kind of, yeah, but more three-dimensional.
Exactly.
They kept all of the original voice actors except for the Flying Dutchman, who was always voiced by Brian Doyle Murray, and they replaced him with Mark Hamill. And I'm not sure what the story is behind that, considering that they let all the other actors be the same, which they usually don't do in movie adaptations. Well, very few of them. Like The Simpsons, they kept the original voice actors; they had all the clout, but others they don't. And Mark Hamill, it's kind of a dual role because he voices the Dutchman as a cartoon character and plays him in live action. Because the premise of the movie is that the Dutchman has finally figured out how to break his curse because he used to be a regular seaman sailor, and it involves finding the most innocent, perfect, person in the whole undersea or in the whole world with SpongeBob, the most innocent person ever, for a sacrifice to trade places with him, basically. But again, it drags because it's like the pacing isn't like it was in the original movie, which was much better. Not enough jokes. It's not really that funny, and they didn't have enough of the characters in there, which I think would have helped more for the type of script that it was. So it was okay.
The other movie I saw was with what's her name? I'm trying to remember. Give me a sec. I'm trying to remember this actress's name.
Was it Ella McKay?
No, not that movie. I haven't seen that. It's good Lord, this woman. Like I know her last name, but her first name is
What's her last name?
Thompson. Tessa Thompson.
Okay.
It's a Amazon movie called Hedda.
Oh, Amazon. Okay.
And I saw it, and I'm like, it's basically set. It's like a bottle movie. It takes place at this castle that her husband recently purchased, and he's counting on making tenure at a university, which is a big deal, and it'll probably help with him keeping the house and everything. And she's one of those socialites with a wicked past that she abandoned when she settled down, but not really. She sleeps around when he's not aware. She basically is sleeping with the lawyer who got them the house, and she invites over a past lesbian friend so that who's also gunning for the same tenure position. And her friend is she used to have a fling with her in the past, and her friend doesn't like the fact that she settled down, and not only that, but she settled down with a guy instead of a woman. And her friend is writing like the next breakthrough in how the world views sex and sexual relationship and sexual dynamics and kinks and all that stuff. So it's like basically one of these dramas with a little bit of thrill about how can I fuck up this person's life in order for my husband to succeed. And you're watching her basically ruining people's lives just so that her husband can get ahead. And it's a little bit slow. The character of Hedda is very unlikable, but Tessa Thompson plays it very well. And everybody gets their just desserts in this movie. And it's a little like, but then when the shit kicks in, I'm like, oh crap, I wasn't expecting it to go this way. So it's like one of those, like, you know what, I might not watch this again for a long time, but for what I saw, I'm not too disappointed. I might not recommend it to everybody because you have to be in a certain mood to watch this. But yeah, it's fine. I think Tessa was the best part.
What
else did you see?
Oh God, what else did I see? We have talked about the Begonia. I saw Begonia. This very luscious cinematography, which you expect from Yorgos Lanthimos. Easily Jesse Plemons' best performance as the conspiracy theorist nutcase, and it's fantastic.
He lost so much fucking weight for this movie.
He did. He looks great, and they actually they put out an open casting call for autistic people to play the younger brother. And the guy they got is delightful. He's really funny because he's not really.
He was great on the red carpet. He's fantastic to talk to.
And it's great because the dynamic between them is that Jesse's the full, totally conspiratorial one, whereas his brother isn't really fully on board, but he lets his brother kind of talk him into things anyway. Because he's like, "How do you know she's an alien?" Well, it's obvious. It's like, well, how is it? It's really funny. Emma Stone's good as expected, and it goes through a lot of the ticks a lot of the boxes of the captive storyline plot that's been done before. Uh, but it was really funny, and I really liked the ending, which has been
Oh,
divisive
I
for
think
people.
that's where you and I are going to diverge.
Okay, yeah, I liked the ending because I thought it was kind of. I mean, there was one major plot contrivance in the climax which pissed me off. Uh, which spoilers for people in the chat. Stop listening if you don't want to hear it. But she basically gets him to accompany her to her workplace, and all the employees are surprised that she's back. And they're like, "Oh, you're back, and weren't you missing or whatever?" And he's got like a shotgun hidden in his jacket, but he's also got a bomb vest on. And she tells him that the teleporter is in the closet, and because he's an idiot or he's gullible to believe in these types of things, he doesn't question it, and he goes in there. And just because the plot demanded it, his vest blows up at that moment, and paramedics assume that, oh yeah, sometimes they get overheated and these things happen. And I thought, that was a real cop out that it just that really bugged me. It's like they should have done something more clever for that. But the reveal that he was right about everything, that she is an alien who's come here to experiment with humans and the like, and they've decided that, yeah, the humans are not, they don't learn from anything. They're stupid. These things aren't working. Fuck them. And then they just pop the air bubble over. And I love how the chapters in the movie are discerned by how many days until a lunar cycle, and eventually the image of the Earth they show turns into a flat Earth at one point. Just really funny. And she just pops the air bubble over the flat Earth design to suffocate the entire world except for the animals. So the animals, all right. So it's better. I guess it's less nihilistic than the original, where they just blow up the entire Earth. But
One of those was a remake.
yes, it's a remake of a South Korean film, which was a lot gorier.
Oh, well, that's probably why I never heard of it.
The movie was called "Save the Green Planet." Uh,
Oh, okay.
and the guy playing Jesse Plemons' role is so much more cheery and jovial, and his "I've got you now" kind of thing. That's really so.
Well, and
And
that's where you went.
instead of an autistic younger brother, it was a girl who was madly in love with him, a younger
Okay.
girl. But it was a different dynamic. But it was still good. It was still different, kind of good. But
I didn't know it was a remake, but then again, I never heard of
right,
the South
and
Korean movie.
And I also like the subplot throughout the movie where there's the cop who keeps talking to him, and you find out that he used to be a babysitter and he might have molested him. And it's like, this guy is
Yeah,
stupid.
that was like, what the fuck
So you're
wait, what the fuck did you do to him?
right. So when he finally kills him
Like,
for
why do you keep
unrelated
coming
reasons,
over? First of all, you are like the most insistent cop I've seen. It's like,
yeah. And so when he
also,
finally
how did
does,
you pass the health exam?
right, exactly. It's like, what are you going to do to be able to stop this guy if something bad happens, And sure enough, he doesn't. When he finally gets killed, it's for unrelated reasons, but it's like, yeah, good, you got him. Uh, but that was just interesting. But
This is where I diverge, and
yeah.
it's really not a major thing. It's just that right up until the reveal, this felt like the most straightforward movie he's done.
Mhm.
Like, no gimmicks, nothing, extravagant, nothing weird. It's like, oh, this is a straight up person that got abducted by these two hillbillies that don't know any better. They're drinking the devil's juice, and they're truly believe that this is happening. And you can tell that I'm like, okay, these guys are fucking up this person's life over something that's not real, but they believe it's real, so they're going to treat this woman like she is the queen of Andromeda. And I'm watching and I'm like, my God, especially the part where they electrocute her by
Mhm.
torturing her. That is like the most intense moment of the movie, because
Yeah.
the acting by Emma, it's
Mhm.
like you feel like she's actually getting electroshock therapy in that moment. I'm like, fuck me, get her out of there. She's gonna die.
Yeah. I did
But
love it when she found the other bodies, and she's like,
yeah,
"How many of them were Andromedans?" And he's like, "2."
yeah. And I like that because, okay, this is how she's going to get out of this. She's going to play into their fiction so that she
Yeah.
can get to get out. So again, it's got me. I am hooked. I am ready to see how this is all going to, end. And then when you get to the point where she's talking to him and she's questioning how many others of us have you found, at some point in the back of my head, as we get to that scene, I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this, but why do I feel like at some point the rug is gonna be pulled under my my feet? I'm like, surely this is not gonna go the way I think it's gonna go. As I'm watching it again, this is my brain working the gears as I'm watching it. I'm like, surely not, because that would be stupid in my head. Because I'm thinking this is way too specific, way too random, way too out there for it to be legitimate the way it's being set up, especially when they get to her office and she's being very deliberate about the passcode she has to put into the fucking calculator so
Yeah.
that they can beam her up. And I'm like, okay, that is way too complicated for it to be anything. So that was like the red herring for me, because that's where my brain is like, okay, so it's not what I think it is, because again, that would be stupid.
Yeah.
So the thing blows up. The police come. They're taking her to the hospital because, yeah, she's been through a very traumatic thing. And you're thinking at some point it's going to cue to music and she's going to continue fucking up people's lives, just like they did with their mother and stuff like that. And the point of the movie is that, wow, we're really going to tear each other apart for greed, money, and we're not going to pay uh uh we're not going to
The compensation.
there's no compensation, there's no humanity. The humanity is the thing that, it's just nothing but corporate greed. Come to see her breaking out of the van, I'm like, fuck you, you're not gonna do it. And then you see her trying to drag herself like, no, I just told you don't do it, because, and I'm like, you no. I was like almost screaming at the movie theater, what the fuck are you doing? And then we turn and she's teleported and she's on the spaceship and she's wearing the hairy suits. I'm like, why are we here? No.
Because it sums up everything you just said about the nihilism.
Oh, I know. That's why I hate myself for it. God damn it.
Well, at first when she ran back, I thought that because it was too convenient that the vest just happened to blow up, I thought they were going to reveal that she did something. And that she was running back to the crime scene to try and retrieve something in the hopes that she wouldn't get caught for blowing him up. Even though circumstances, you wouldn't really be blamed necessarily. So when she jumps into the thing, I'm like, oh, okay. They're actually going to do this. But I did also love the bit with the antifreeze. That was really funny because he's that gullible to believe that. And it turns out she was lying about that. It was actually antifreeze. But yeah, it was different. I enjoyed it.
How we both got to the same conclusion, but my conclusion was, no, that's stupid. Don't do that.
I enjoyed it more than Poor Things because I thought Poor Things was too long. It was like half hour too long, and it was very repetitive because once she discovers sex, it's like that's all the rest of the movie is. But this I thought was funner. So this one I liked better, but I think the favorite of it is still my favorite. Ironic, no pun intended.
Oh, no.
Still my favorite movie that he's done.
I think so far the favorite is my favorite of his, because it's, again, straightforward. There's really nothing about it to be weird for the sake of weird.
Yeah,
it just takes me out of it. I'm tired of directors having to be weird for the sake of it. It's like, no, stop that shit. Who likes this? No.
Did you see Did you see The Killing of a Sacred Deer?
I don't think I did. Did I?
Yeah, that's the one with the other Lanthimos movie with Colin Farrell and Barry Keoghan and Nicole Kidman.
Oh, I know. I don't think I've seen it.
Okay, yeah, that's another one that's a really, really slow burn, but it gets kind of weird. Not weird like supernatural or sci-fi or anything like that, but it's just very like one of those movies that makes you feel uncomfortable and awkward.
Okay, got it.
But that was okay. When I saw The Lobster, I thought, man, the first half of this movie is one of the most original things I've seen in years, and then the second half happens. but yeah, so Begonia was another one I saw, and then I think we covered most of the other ones last month because some of the streaming stuff I haven't seen because some of the awards contenders are.
I finally got around to seeing Nobody 2.
Yeah,
didn't like it at all. It was like, wow, all that goodwill with the first one, and you come at me with poorly edited fight scenes, a last minute villain that nobody asked for with Sharon Stone. I'm like, God, what am I watching? This is not good at all.
Mm.
I saw the Karate Kid Legends, and I feel like I was watching two movies in one.
Hmm.
Because you have the subplot with the, for whatever reason, I'm supposed to buy that a teenager is going to train a grown man to go back into boxing with karate. I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah.
But I would have rather see that movie than whatever this was. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it was okay. And they're so gun ho with bringing back Ralph Macchio that he looked terrible in this movie. Like either they forgot to send him to the gym or they forgot to get a hairstylist for him because he looked like somebody's aunt who walked in on set and decided to try acting for today. And I know he's not the greatest actor in the world, but the entire time he was struggling to get the lines out or to look even mildly enjoying his time. And then they have that final scene where they're basically bridging the Cobra Kai series with the movie where I'm just like, no, 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 get the
Mm.
fuck out of here. We're not doing this.
Yeah, that was a little. Yeah, because it's
Like of
basically
all
it's
the
Karate
cameos, you
Kid.
could have brought Jaden Smith because that would have made more sense since Jackie Chan was in it.
That's true, and it's like basically from a storytelling perspective, it's just the original movie again, uh,
Again.
with the legacy crap. But I mean, I at the time had not remembered the original. I hadn't seen the original at that time. Uh, and so I saw Karate Kid Legends was, I guess I might as well say it was the first Karate Kid movie I've ever seen from start to finish. 'Cause I didn't grow up with that because I just had no interest in it. Because here's the thing, I find movies where you have one person trying to train another with a bunch of training sequences for whatever it is, fight. I just find that very didactic. I don't find it that entertaining. Uh, and
I think that's
so
a product
I
of its time, and that was the trend at the time.
right, yeah, that's the same with other movies back then. I'm not crazy about that do that either. And so when I saw Karate Kid Legends, that was like the first time I was seeing that story. And it's funny because I already knew the story of Karate Kid front to back. I knew the whole thing, even though I hadn't seen any of it, because it's in pop culture. It's like it's like you just
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
And
It's a time capsule kind of thing.
right, and so I didn't hate Karate Kid Legends because again, it was the first time I was really actually watching that story. But I agree that Ralph Macchio was like, this guy ain't much, and Jackie Chan's like, well, this doesn't really make, like you said, kung fu teaching karate, like that doesn't really make sense. Uh, but it was fine,
But I like the kid that it's in the movie, and you see him in the long walk.
Right.
I think that kid's got a bright future. He's got
He does. He's really
potential, and
good.
he was very likable.
Yeah, he was very good.
I saw also Song Sung Blue with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, a very feel good movie with a pretty tragic ending, like bittersweet. But everything leading up to it, I was having a good time. I was having a smile on my face, and that was my double feature with Marty Supreme. So after coming out of Marty Supreme being pissed off, I was glad to watch Song Sung Blue because that put a smile on my face.
See, I'm gonna maybe check that out because Ben from Cinema Gulp said that was a really good movie too. And it's like I just saw the trailers and stuff, and it just looked really kind of sappy, like a Lifetime movie or a Hallmark movie, but better made. But I don't know, maybe I'll
No,
check it out.
that is an apt description, but you're gonna like it in general because I'm like, yeah, I like this. You know what? I'm into it. I want to be around these people. I want to be on that stage singing with them. It's very feel good. It does take a turn
Right.
where life stuff happen. Again, I didn't know
Yeah,
much
the
about
trailer
the life
basically
of these two,
the the,
but
the trailer was edited in a way that it felt like a trailer that's telling you the whole movie from start to finish.
I never saw the whole trailer. I saw like the first 5 minutes, and because of how long the trailer was, I'm just like, this is gonna be one of those trailers gonna show me the whole movie. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah.
But no, it was like I want to say that it's one of those feel good movies, but it does have some pretty dramatic stuff, but it doesn't make you like it any less, but it kind of like drives home the home. I'm just like, oh God, why are you doing this to me? I came here to have a good time.
Yeah.
And the other ones that I saw was I saw Eden that has Jude Law.
Oh yeah, that's the Ron Howard movie. I've wanted to see that
The
because
Ron
I've been
Howard
very
movie.
interested in that story.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Not bad, but it's like, yeah, it's decent. I give it a 3 out of 5. I
Yeah.
finally got to watch Presence.
Mm-hmm.
That was a January movie from 2025, and I finally got to watch it. It was on Hulu. I liked it very much. It's not your typical ghost story type of movie. It's actually more engaging than your typical uh, apparition type of storytelling, because there's a point to why there's a presence, as the title suggests, in the movie, and you're basically watching it from the point of view of the ghost, essentially.
Right.
And I liked it very much. I gave it a 4 out of 5. And then I did a back to back of Sovereign and Neighborhood Watch.
Mm.
Neighborhood Watch has which is funny because uh it's like what was it? What am I saying? It has Jack Quaid, and I like Jack Quaid in Neighborhood Watch more than watching him in Novocaine.
Yeah.
And in Sovereign, Dennis Quaid is in that movie, so I'm like, oh, I just saw a double feature of the Quaid family.
Mhm.
Uh, Sovereign is pretty tragic, but it's basically based on the sovereign citizens, people that are out there that they really don't recognize the U.S. government. They don't recognize the U.S. laws. They're always, every time they get stopped because they don't have a valid driver's license, sir, I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Like that kind of bullshit. If you see the body cam footage of a sovereign citizen getting arrested, it basically sums up what a sovereign citizen is.
Yeah.
But this movie is basically Jacob Tremblay as a grown up now. He's basically 18 or older. He's no longer that little shy kid that got introduced to us a decade ago. And he's almost unrecognizable until you see him in a certain moment. I was like, wait, is that Jacob Tremblay? Bro, you grew up. You're no longer a kid. Now you're making me feel old, you son of a bitch. But yeah, a very good movie that's kind of like what happens when you keep feeding people these dangerous ideologies, and it's all going to, the shit's going to hit the fan, and not in a good way. And this movie pretty much portrays what happens when you see people that are kind of lost in life and they cling on to this false idea, and that false idea just keeps permeating into this black sludge, and it affects everything around them.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad, but the way it's presented is like that's a pretty damn good look into how fucked up the fact is that there are people like this out there, and they believe this thing to the point where it's like, dude, what are you doing? Why? How?
Yeah.
And yeah, those are pretty much all the movies I've seen since our last chat.
Uh,
And yeah,
yeah. And then I saw Anaconda. That's the last one I saw.
yeah,
Uh,
which I
it was
judge you for it, but you
it,
still watched it. Fuck me,
it
right?
was it was dumb fun. It was because the plot is incredibly stupid. Because I'm like, I don't know why they came up with this idea that of all the movies you want to do the meta thing with that you pick Anaconda. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I
And
remember when that trailer came out, my takeaway was, so this is like King Kong meets Tropic Thunder, but dumber.
right. And it's funny because the movie begins with like the Paul Rudd characters walking back on the back lot of the studio, and there's a few posters from these really iconic, excellent films like Close Encounters, Jaws, other things like that. And then it has a poster for Anaconda, and it's like, is that supposed to be ironic or what? And that's where he gets the idea and says, let's reboot Anaconda. It's like a midlife crisis thing. And I've been on a Jack Black binge lately, which is why I wanted to see it, and it was fun. But it's really, and maybe it was funnier because it was in a packed house. But I was surprised at how little you actually get to see the Anaconda that's in this movie. Obviously, the CGI is significantly better for it than it was in the original, which I don't really remember. I know they make fun of the original quite a lot in the movie, even though it's like they're supposed to be paying reference to it. So yeah, it was just dumb.
Well, at least the original actually relies more on the animatronics, and
Yeah, but there is some
the
really
only thing that doesn't hold up in that movie are the handful of CG spots.
yeah.
Because again, that's when CGI was starting to kick in, and Jurassic Park was like the king daddy at the time.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's still with the king daddy. I'm just saying that's the guy. That's the one that we're all trying to emulate with all those B horror movies with monster mans.
yeah, and then the same theater I saw that at the same day they were playing Spider-Man, but it wasn't a Fathom event, and so I had my Regal pass to see it for free, and it's the Sam Raimi one, first one. And watching it, it's been quite a while since I'd seen it. I probably hadn't watched it since No Way Home came out, and I don't know, something about the editing and the juxtaposition between Peter's story and Norman's story. It just felt a lot more comic booky than I remembered, and a little bit dated. And when I got back home, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna watch Spider-Man 2 and 3 because it had been a while since I've seen those two, and it's like one of my big revelations or takeaways from the trilogy, at the risk of sounding sacrilegious, is that I'm really not much a fan of the MJ character. There's not much going on there. I didn't think she was...
You know what's funny? You're not alone, and the reason is because she turned into a screaming banshee in the sequels.
Yeah, and then the fact
that's
that
how she was doing.
Well, not just that. It's just like I forgot that how petty she was in the first part of the third movie.
Yeah.
Like wanting him to feel bad about going to save people from the crane, and that was our kiss. It's like, yeah, Peter's being a jerk, but it's like, I got a bad review. Be sympathetic to how I feel. And I'm like, this is getting really soap opera-y. And then even when she gets engaged to Jameson's son, I'm like, that kind of came out of the blue. And every time they cut away to MJ's story, I just was not interested. And that was one of the takeaways I had watching these three movies again. And how repetitive it is that the climax of every movie is we got to save MJ. It's like, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even the comic book doesn't have MJ being the victim that much.
Yeah, and that's why I thought when Kirsten Dunst was being flippant about why'd they even bother making more movies? We made the best ones, and this is so stupid. I'm like, really? It's like Spider-Man 2 is excellent.
Really?
Spider-Man 2 is a great movie because it's
I think she's just, they never made Spider-Man 4. That's why she's talking shit.
Yeah, and it's like Spider-Man 2 is still a great movie because it's a Peter Parker story. And it's funny because I rewatch it, and it's almost like Doc Ock is only in the movie for the sake of having action scenes because his story is so removed from the rest of what's going on with Peter's story. And they kind of tie them together neatly a little bit towards the end. But
the power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
That was my favorite payoff from No Way Home.
Yes, like everybody loved that part.
But that was like they cut to it, and they don't even have a build up to it. It cuts, and he's already saying the line, and you almost miss it. And I'm like, oh my god, that is so like that was the moment where I felt of all the crazy shit that happens in No Way Home and all the callbacks. That was the one where I wanted to pinch myself. I can't believe this is actually happening. But yes, Spider-Man 2 and the action scenes in Spider-Man 2 are still badass. They really hold up, and we're just edited.
The coffee shop scene holds up.
The bank heist and where he takes Aunt May and goes up the side of the building, and the train.
Of course, you got the train scene.
Yeah, that train scene was great, and so yeah, that's a great movie, and I would recommend people going back to check it out. Whereas the third one, when I rewatched it, the storylines coalesced a little better than I remembered, but petty MJ, emo Peter, and you could tell the writers knew it was overstuffed, which is why they gave Harry amnesia. It's like, we don't want to deal with you right now. Let's push you to the back of the back of the screen. And it's like, okay, I get that Harry has amnesia, but why is he so much super nice and soft and cuddly like than he was even in the first movie before he hated Spider-Man? It's like he's a completely different person. It's like, so that was kind of funny. And again, it always bugs me that Sandman's story is incomplete because it's like, he's a sympathetic guy. Like he says to his wife, I'm not a bad man. I've just had bad luck, or I've made a few bad decisions, because he's trying to save his daughter. And they even bring that up in No Way Home, where he's like, I just want to get home so I can help my daughter. And that's another storyline that they left hanging in both those movies.
Bro, I don't think your daughter's alive anymore.
Well, I mean, when you're doing multiverse.
I'm just saying, it's like, bro. Seriously, your daughter's still sick? It's been years.
Well,
I'm being an asshole. I'm not saying it for you to take it seriously. I'm just being an asshole right
now. Yeah, so that was kind of the takeaway from that. And for some reason, even though they put Spider-Man back out, they didn't put Spider-Man 2 or 3 as well. I mean, they did as Fathom events a while ago, but those cost a lot more money, and I was like, I'm not going to pay that kind of money for it. But yeah, so that was what I've seen lately, and so that's I guess it's a good place to wrap up.
Good.
Yeah. All right, so everybody, thanks for joining the Canadian Spider-Man, Old Man Bird, Herc 130. And Scotty for jumping in first for the first comment. But yeah, this has been fun. And maybe we'll be back next week with another one, or we'll figure it out because this requires a bit more scheduling. So we got to make sure we pick our movies. And
this is basically us piloting this idea we've been gestating for a bit.
Yeah, and because I just wanted to get to some of the movies from the pile. Since it's cinephile, eventually you get to the point where it's like, I kind of want to watch some of this stuff now.
Yeah. No joke. When you and I were actually getting serious about thinking about doing our podcast, and we kept getting enamored with the idea of the pile, I was buying movies just to stack them to make the pile much more lucrative as a segment. So
Yeah.
I think in the last 3 years I've bought at least 75 movies that I haven't seen, that I just stockpiled them to the day that we can get to the pile. And again, that is just like 15% of movies that I haven't seen.
Okay, I know I've gotten some blind buys before, but that is an insane amount, dude.
I know. And again, a lot of these movies, it's not that I've avoided them. It's just that there was never any time to see it. And even when I even thought about seeing them, I was watching something else and I forgot about it. That's just how it works.
Yeah, that happens a lot with me too.
Like, it's not like I purposely did not want to watch The Shining. It's just that I was too young to watch it, never got around to it. And as I got older, it just never came up.
Yeah. And I've got some here I'm looking at right now, and I'm sure I got some others over there in the drawers with all the regular.
Oh, there's one that's staring at me right now that I'm like, oh boy, I can't wait to tell Kat about this one. I'm gonna have a trip.
Well, that'll be good, and we'll be sure to renew this series. Maybe we'll come back next week. We'll see what's going on, and we'll both be on camera, so that way we can see our shocked expressions, or you guys can see our.
I'll be on camera. Yeah, and again, this is at least on my end. I don't know about Kat. On my end, it's gonna be a lot of retro movies, a lot of classics, instant classics that for cinephiles we should have already seen by now. And at least for me, I'm going to pepper in movies that have come out in the last 5 years and over that never got around to it, not because I didn't want to, but because I probably missed its initial run, and I just life kept going, basically.
Yeah. And that's the same for me. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us again. This has been fun. I'm glad that we were able to make this happen. And maybe and if we don't do episode 2 next week, maybe not, we'll figure that out with scheduling. I'll find maybe something else for sure that we could talk about next week in lieu of that. But we'll, because I don't think we got too many movies coming out this weekend. Not until next week.
I already have a double feature schedule. I'm going to be watching Primate. Is it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm watching Primate and what was it? Greenland.
Oh, Greenland 2. Yeah.
Greenland 2 Migration. Yeah. So I'm going to be watching those back to back.
I didn't even know about Greenland 1. Oh, Greenland 2.
Okay. It is surprisingly decent, the first one.
Okay. Yeah, there are some other January movies that are upcoming that it's like, on the one hand, the logic in me, the rational side of me says, it's a January movie, it's probably not going to be very good. But then the other side of me says, I kind of want to see this. So,
well, there's going to be the movie No Other Choice that you better go watch.
I will. I wasn't able to go see it at Tower because I had a broken leg, and you can't. That's a theater with a steep, high thing, so I couldn't go to see it there. So
I already got my ticket for that one for next week.
Huh?
I already got my ticket for that one, and I'm going to double feature with All You Need Is Kill, so we'll have something to talk about.
All right, yeah. So I look forward to No Other Choice. His previous film came to Hulu, so I assume that one will as well, and I'll probably check it out then. So it might be a while before I'm able to see it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely on my watch list. Okay, so I keep prolonging this and turning it into a
fine. We're good. We're
good. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
And give us feedback in the chat or whatever coming back if you guys liked. Oh, some people said fun. Herc 130. Okay, that's great. So see you guys later.